What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kthulhu, and today I want to talk about Myron Gaines, aka Amrou Fudl. Before we get into it, if you end up liking the video, go ahead and drop a like, leave me a sub, leave me a comment. It helps me immensely. I would genuinely appreciate it so much. And let's just get into it. Going back as far as the first Fresh and Fit clip I've ever seen, I've always thought that they were incredibly corny. And I've always kind of felt like Walter was more of a follower as opposed to Myron being the leader per se. So that's why my analysis is going to focus on him. So of recently, while I was scouring around, I actually learned that Myron is Sudanese. Now what's the relevance to this claim? Well, I am also Sudanese. So you would imagine that there would be kind of a sense of tribalism, or you would feel that I would have some kind of connection to him. But in reality, I could not feel more disconnected and disgusted by a person ever in my life. Now there's going to be a couple of points that I'm going to touch upon in this analysis, but the first one that I want to get to is the fact that you are a Sudanese man with a large platform, and yet the entire time you've only come out and spoken out about Sudan once or twice. I think there's one video of him actually speaking out about the things that have happened. And even then, he doesn't go into detail. He doesn't actually explain anything of value. He just kind of talks about some surface level BS that you could see on any news article. And it got me thinking, if I had that kind of platform, if I had that kind of following, I would be yelling it from the mountaintops every single day just to let people know the kind of horrors and atrocities that are happening back home in my home. That's the issue. That's the difference between me and you, Myron. You don't see it as your home. You don't actually align with being Sudanese. You may say you're Sudanese, but you don't have that pride of being Sudanese. Now, what's my reasoning for saying this? I saw him during an interview say that he went back to Sudan, and when he went there, he saw how impoverished things were and yada yada, and that made him love America more and appreciate America so much more. I have been to Sudan every couple of years since the age of 5. And every single time I have gone to the city center, I have gone to the sticks, straight jungles, no electricity, no signal, nothing, just huts. And still, to this day, if it wasn't for the war that was happening, I'd be there right now. Why? Because I love it. Because those are my people. Because I feel a sense of community. You are an outsider. You're an outcast. And to add a little bit more proof to that statement, you also said that you had to give up $3,000 for your family so you could get your uncle out of Sudan to Qatar because he was going to be imprisoned because he was working directly under Omar al-Bashir, one of the most corrupt human beings to ever touch down on this planet. The reason you don't speak out about it as often as you should is because you know that your family had a hand in this too. You sit there and you claim that you're Sudanese, but you try so hard to be white that it's not even funny. How do you go from Amrou Fudl to Myron Gaines? I get it, it's a stage name, but you couldn't have went for anything even minorly ethnically fitting? Bro really went for the whitest name imaginable, Myron Gaines. And I find it absolutely ironic, the fact that you sit there and you say, oh, I saw how impoverished it was and it made me love America so much more, because you know that America and the UK directly had a hand in the direct state of where our country currently is. And I find that absolutely hilarious that you had the gall to go out and talk dog smack about Agent 00 when he didn't speak out about Palestine, but you're not speaking out about your home, about your people. That's insane to me that you can sit there on a high horse from a glass house and throw every stone imaginable. Now, the whole Sudan situation put to the side, my second point of contention with you is the fact that you sit there and you judge the black community so heavily as if you are not also black. Now, I get it. You may not be accepted into the likes of the black community, but at the end of the day, every single little fellow right-winger that you hang out around and you tap dance for, they see you as one of us, regardless of what you say. Ain't that the reason why you was in those Twitter spaces getting called the hard R? See, the difference between people like me and you, Myron, you know what? I'm not even going to call you Myron anymore, because we already know that's phony. Amrou, the difference between people like me and you is the fact that even though my parents are immigrants and they're from Sudan and I stand, strong with my Sudanese people, I'll always claim my Sudanese heritage. I will always claim to be an African American second, because throughout the entirety of my life, I always grew up around niggas. every single day. That's who I hang out with. Those were my people. And that's the thing. It's because of the fact that you were so phony, you were never accepted in. You was always seen as an outcast. And now, because of that, you go around hanging out with right-wingers thinking that you're one of them when they see you as nothing but scum on the bottom of their shoe. Every time I see a video or a clip of you calling a black person ghetto or ratchet or using a slur against them, it makes you look like such a clown, because at the end of the day, you know every single one of your friends says the same thing about you. Amrou, you're never gonna be one of them. You will never be accepted into their ranks. And at this point, it's even sadder because you've alienated yourself from the only people that will probably accept you, which that's not happening now at this point in time. It's to the point now where you have no background. You are not black, you are not white, and you're not Sudanese, so like, what are you? Like, in all reality, anytime I see you, you give me the vibes of a significantly less likable Uncle Ruckus. That's insane, because Uncle Ruckus was written to be unlikable. I feel like given the fact that we have such closer backgrounds, we should probably be more aligned in thought, but realistically, I couldn't be more different than you. You are literally the epitome of an Uncle Tom, of somebody that hates being who he is. Me, I'm proud of who I am. I'm a nigga at the end of the day to the day that I die. I'm a Sudanese nigga, and ain't nobody gonna take that away from me. Another point that I want to focus on is how you speak to and about women on your show. For somebody who sits there and claims to be a high-value man, you act very much so like an incel. It feels very ironic to me. At no point in time, if you are genuinely a high-value man, do you have to go out and tell people, oh, I'm a high-value man, you have to respect me. Ain't nobody respecting you because you're not giving people a reason to respect you. You sit there and you claim to be Muslim, but you don't do one of the most important things in Islam, which is to respect women. Your entire sense of value and self-worth comes from how many chicks you can smash, which between me and you, Muslim to Muslim, you know you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. But aside from that, you sit there and you call these women hoes and sluts and everything underneath the sun when you do the exact same thing that they do, and you pay for it. You sat there and you said, oh, I cried because of how many young men's lives I'm impacting and how many people I'm helping. Helping with what? Making the world a worse place? Making men actually more hateful and more aggressive towards women who actually have nothing to do with the situation? Realistically, you could be a good human being and go to therapy and solve whatever grievances you have with yourself, but instead you get on a platform and you brainwash the youth into thinking like you and harming them further than you could ever harm anybody else. Because at the end of the day, everything that you say is based off of bunk facts, and you sit there and spout them like they're hard truths. You are just giving off an insecure little man who got hurt by a girl in his past, and now you're on a tirade to make sure that all women feel your wrath. And the reason I say this is because even younger than you, at the age of 26, at no point in my life would I talk about a woman the way that you talk about a woman. I have sisters, I have nieces, I have cousins, and at any point in time, if anybody ever dared talk to them the way that you talk to them, I would have dropped them immediately. You have had grown men call you a slur to your face, and you sat back and did nothing about it, but you're gonna sit here and you're gonna buck up on women because you feel superior? That doesn't make you superior. That doesn't make you a high value man. That makes you a coward, because you feel like you can outpower them so you could talk to them however you want to. But when it comes to a man who is on your level, who is of your strength, you don't say anything to them because you know you might get popped in the mouth. You built an entire following off of impressionable people who have been hurt and probably are dealing with traumas, and instead of actually guiding them to the right path and making sure that they heal and become better people, you turn them into mini versions of you, just hateful, just ignorant people. My last final point is the fact that you sit there and you claim to be Muslim, but you spout the same talking points as Islamophobes. You sit there and say, oh, Muslims shouldn't be praying in public and they need to adapt to this society, etc., etc. But at the same time, you fail to realize that the First Amendment exists for a reason. When the time comes, if it's my time to pray and I'm in the middle of a town square, as long as I'm not in anybody's way, I can do whatever I want. It's crazy to me that you will run up to bat every single time for people that hate you and hate your people and hate your kind, but when it comes to actually defending your people, you're nowhere to be seen. You made a whole rant about Muslims and quite literally said that Islam does not teach us to critically think, but at the same time, not once have you actually got up on your platform and talked about the rise in Islamophobia and how people have been treating us since 9/11. Like, it's actually bewildering to me how you can sit there and you can talk down about every single aspect of your being. Every single part of you that makes you you, you talk down about and never once have tried to uplift it. You sit there and you claim to be Muslim, but you openly do everything that we're told not to do. Like, at what point in time is anybody supposed to believe anything that you say? This isn't even me trying to be holier than thou, because I have my own sins, I have my own gripes. But when was the last time you sat down and you prayed and you actually talked to God? Because I'm not going to sit here and take criticism from somebody who claims to be Muslim but doesn't actually do things that Muslims should do. To wrap this up, I think at the end of the day, all I can say is, Amrou, you are a sellout. You will sit there and you will do anything for money except do the right thing. Now, if you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you for sticking around. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.